Okay, Andrew, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Okay, we're going to get started here. Welcome, everyone. We are joined. My name's Adam Beebe. I'm a broker at Latonas.com. We are having our open house with the seller of the site, Andrew Smith. Andrew, please say hi.
Yeah, hi everybody.
Andrew, it was a little bit disjointed there on my end. Venice, Italy. I asked you how to pronounce this. How do you pronounce that? I'm sorry.
Venice, Italy, Veneto.
Veneto. Okay. Andrew is fluent in Italian and some other languages, so uh, thank you for your pronunciation there, and I apologize about that. But right, this is it's a trio of sites, the main one being this site that we're representing on Latonas. Everyone listening, people listening to the recording, this next section is not applicable. But anyone listening right now, if you haven't already dialed into the audio bridge, please do so. You can obviously call in or use your computer mic. Um, any questions that you want to ask or ask through the chat functionality of GoToMeeting, you can see that. Ask them to me. I'll read them. I'll ask them when within the flow of conversation it's appropriate to ask. Don't worry, we ask all the questions. Um, And that's that. So what we're looking at here is a screenshot from the listing of the site, in this case, network of sites, that's on latonas.com. Once someone has it's an account there, it's free. You put in your email. Once you've done that, you can access the last 12 months of revenue, expenses, uniques, and page views just by clicking that blue hyperlink. What we have here is again a total of the three sites. That page rank is based on the main site, the Venice site, um, as is the domain registration. I'll let Andrew get a little bit more into detail, and it's actually the next slide as far as the history of the site, how the three sites work in conjunction with one another. Uh, Before I forget, and I think everybody on the call knows this, we do have a prospectus on the site. Those are available. Contact me directly or just click request a prospectus, and we send those out upon a signed NDA. So without further ado, Andrew, if you would, it's going to be, I believe, the next few sites. If you would, take some time, explain the history of the trio of sites and also the business itself. So what you'll notice, Andrew, is there are slides where you're going to be doing all the talking. I put myself
Yep.
on mute so there's no ambient noise. When you're done, you'll hear a little bit of delay as I'm taking myself off mute. So please explain the history of the network.
Okay. Well, the Venice site was the still is the principal site in the network. As you saw there, the Venice site started in 2008, but at the time it was a very different site to the site it is now. It was almost a bit of a hobby, and it didn't have much going with it until 2010, and then it started growing a little bit more. But really, the most of the work was done from 2013. 2013, I put a lot more dedicated attention into it. There was another site that opened at that time, Mio My Italy, and the branding was all changed. We started developing our Facebook page, our Pinterest presence. So from the previous period, the two main sites were, you know, almost as a hobby really. But then in 2013, things really got serious. We started really developing it. The Facebook page started in early part of 2013. Over the last 18 months, 2 years, it's grown from zero up to over 300,000 followers now. The same with Pinterest, has grown from zero up to about 12,000 followers at this point. And the sites are all redone in 2013. The Mio My Italy brand was launched at the end of 2013. The Venice site was completely redone from content to branding. Everything was done. So, they all got a similar branding now, all the sites. And yeah, it was a complete relaunch, and it's really has paid off, especially with the whole growth in Facebook. To a certain extent, we control the whole traffic now. We can direct traffic to any particular page that monetizes as well. whenever we want to by posting on Facebook. You know, a good post on Facebook can bring in anything from 3,000 visitors occasionally to a particular site and a particular page on a particular day, which of course has seen a big leap in monetization. You know, revenue back in 2013 was around $6,000. We saw that rise last year with the Facebook growth of the Facebook page, up to $14,000. And at the same time, you know, though we control the traffic to the site, Google seems to have also taken notice, and we're getting a lot more Google traffic. This year again, the growth has been exponential on Google traffic. On the Venice site, for example, the Google traffic in the first 2 months of this year is now up 426% over the same period last year. The Mio My Italy site is also seeing growth of around 80% this year so far. And you know, like I said, the revenue's gone from 6,000 in 2013 up to 14,000 over the 2014 period, and you know, with the same exponential growth, bookings have doubled. Google AdSense has doubled during the first 2 months. I'm expecting to have a really bumpy year, anything between 20 to 25,000 this year, which should be easy, because the whole point of the building the network was to build a relationship with people. And you know, when you're getting hotel bookings as one of your main monetization options, a relationship with people really helps. You know, I've actually have people now contacting me and asking me how can they book a hotel that we'll get the commission on it, make sure we get the commission, and that's seen a huge leap in bookings. You know, the bookings for March already, well, we only 11, 12 days into March, but you know, the bookings in March are already well above last year March. So you know, March is looking at tripling on the previous year's March. So yeah, a lot of work was put into it in building that network and building a brand, which I think we've achieved to a great extent. Um, Adam, if you want to come in, I think that basically
Yeah,
covers it.
that's it. And the aforementioned delay, me putting myself on mute, that definitely is clear there. This is, of course, and what we did. Victoria put this together. I believe she put the three sites here, just a screenshot of all three sites. So just rewinding here, you know, we can
Yeah,
see a Venice site, then the what's that, Mio Mai Italy, and
yeah,
then the wine site right there. Um, pretty clear discussion as far as the history of the site. This is obviously your Facebook. What I'd like to do now, Andrew, and I'm sure this will come up. That's a good amount of followers on Facebook, and as memory served, I know it's in the listing. Isn't it less than like 4% of these are gotten in any other way other than just organic, meaning these are true likes. You're not buying any of these likes. Why don't you
yeah.
go into
No,
some detail? When did the Facebook come online? Talk a little bit about that if you don't mind.
yeah. The Facebook page really, you know, it was very minor in the beginning. There wasn't much to it really in the beginning when we first started the Facebook page. But again, in 2013 was when we really started pushing the Facebook page. We developed the similar branding. I mean, if you notice on the websites, there's a sunflower logo on but the Mio My Italy and on the Venice Italy site. We developed those common branding elements for the Facebook page, and it was really back in May 2013 that was the sort of release date of the Facebook page as it is now, and we really started pushing a little bit. At that time, we probably had about I would say about 2,000 followers in May 2013. You know, that by the end of 2013, we'd got up to around about 70, 80,000, and then it's just grown exponentially. We ran a few ad campaigns in the beginning, but probably out of those 320,000 followers, maybe 10,000 followers, you know, have come, 10, 15,000 at most have come through advertising, and it was mostly in the initial period. We've done a few little ad campaigns since then, but they've been ad campaigns with, you know, sort of a $10, $15 budget, just to test, to keep up to date with what's going on with Facebook ads and see if there's any changes or any difference in the ad campaigns or anything's changed. You know, just keep up to date ourselves really. But the ad campaigns have never been an important part of our likes. The likes have like I say, just about all grown organically. For example, with the likes, most of our followers come from the US, and the US we've never targeted. When we ran those initial ad campaigns just to get the ball going, get a little bit of momentum started, we tended to target mostly European countries, a few South American countries, but that was it. Whereas now all those likes in the US, for example, are all organically achieved. All of them have come organically, and the same with the likes in Italy. And Italy is another country we've never advertised to. The UK is another one, and that they've all grown organically. I mean, we've got a lot of likes now in places like the UK and Canada, Australia, US, and none of those were ever countries we target in ad campaigns. So yeah, like I say, it's grown really quickly, and the key is the reach. I mean, if I'm looking at it now on my screen here, I see the post reach this week. I've reached 187,000 people this week a week. So more even than the likes. You can see other pages with 300,000 likes and they've got hardly any reach. They've got hardly anybody talking about the page. Our page has always had a good reach and a good number of people talking about the page, a good number of click-throughs. That's what I was saying when I've got a particular page that I want to promote and monetize. All I have to do is really share it on Facebook, and I know I'm going to get a lot of clicks through. Occasionally it's got to 3,000-4,000 a day on a really good day with a good post that's got shared. But generally I'll still get a lot of traffic from Facebook every day without having to do much, and I'm able to target that to exactly where I want that traffic to go. The same thing with the Pinterest. The Pinterest again started about the same time, and that's also grown very quickly and become very important as well in terms of traffic. Does that cover it, Adam?
It sure does. We're looking at here Italy with Maria. This Maria is your wife. I take it,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. You'll see. Sorry, Adam. One thing, the
no, go.
branding is all done with Ciao Maria. That was all done on the Facebook, and the websites is mostly more about us. But on the Facebook, it's done the branding Maria, because Maria just sounds a lot more Italian, a lot more authentic than Andrew does. Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. Um, okay, let's see here. I think that's sufficient on this screenshot. As mentioned, the Venice site is the oldest, as demonstrated here in the archive way back site. Um, Anything worthwhile mentioning here? Meaning, any of these sites or all these sites, has there been any major design changes through the life of each site?
Yeah, completely. Like I said at the beginning, your traffic stats are showing really high traffic right in the beginning. I don't know, what that is there, the spike up there, because there was never that sort of traffic. The traffic in 2011 was reasonably decent in 2012, but again, it wasn't. The site looks completely different. If you look at the site back then, it was a completely different site. It wasn't what it is now. It was basically in 2012 that I really started changing that site. There was the Panda thing that came along with Google and the algorithm change. And at that time, it was just that one side. I had the wine side as well, but I realized that we needed to do something different, and that's why in 2013 we did the whole rebranding. We did the whole revamp of the content. We came up with the Mio My Italy site as well, and the Facebook pages and everything else. A lot of it was so that we wouldn't depend. We'd have a diversified business that wouldn't depend on Google. I didn't want that happening again, that we depended on Google for traffic, and you could be penalized and your business wouldn't be successful if Google suddenly decided to drop you. So the aim was in 2013 was to completely rebrand, do a complete audit to the sites, a whole rebranding, everything, but make the sites more attractive to Google, which has worked. The traffic is way up on even the pre-levels on that Venice site. All the traffic is up on all the sites. Like I said already, this year over last year on the Venice site, the Google traffic is up 426% the first 2 months of this year. So Google's liked what we've done. And of course, we've got a lot of more diversified traffic. We've got a lot of other sources. We've got a lot of direct traffic. We built a newsletter base as well. So we've got a lot of people who keep coming back when we send out the e-zine. People who come directly to the site. We've got a lot of traffic coming from Pinterest. We've got the Facebook traffic. So we've got a much more diversified traffic model. And at the same time, we've got the Google traffic back. I think that part of that is that the pages have got a lot of likes, a lot of sharing going on social media, which has probably impressed Google. And the content's good. We don't have thin content pages. The content's all original. the content's unique, and the content does get shared, and people do like the content, which is an important part as well, in building a successful website these days. Okay, Adam, I
Right.
think that covers it.
Just took myself off. Victoria added a screenshot from analytics. There we can check. Actually, it was, well, we'll start here. We'll see if it's just on the Venice site. It is what it is. But this is a screenshot of the last 12 months solely of the Venice site. Uh, the spikes, I mean, has to do with the booking of trips and such, and people are more active certain times of the year. What are your busy times, and why? And explain why that would be. Just demonstrated on the traffic here.
On the traffic, one thing I need to say with the analytics, not all the pages have got analytics on, so our own traffic details within our back end are probably more accurate, but analytics gives you a pretty good overview of what's going on, especially with the Google traffic. In terms of this traffic here, you do get spikes at certain times. Mostly August, September, October is a pretty good month. Actually, any time from June, July, all the way through to October are pretty good months for us. A lot of the spikes are, when we have a particular popular post. I mean, there are posts that I don't do all the time, but when I do them occasionally, I always get a spike in traffic. There's certain posts. There's a bucket list post, a bucket list of Italy. Whenever I post that, the spike, I get a huge amount of response on Facebook. There's occasional other things. There's a couple of quiz pages I've got on the site that always get a lot of viral input. So most of these spikes are going to be also from the Facebook, a particular post at a particular time, which then gets a spike. It is a little bit seasonal as well. So, if you post a popular thing, the Amalfi Coast is another one that's very popular. If I post that during the sort of July, August, September time, it's going to get a much bigger spike than it will at this time of year. January, February, it gets a much smaller spike than you would see now. Again, if you did the Google traffic on this Venice and cut out everything else, cut out the Facebook, which can distort it a little bit, you'd see the Google traffic has dramatically increased from last year. Like I say, it's from the beginning of last year to this time, it's up 426%. So the Google traffic continues to climb, but the Google traffic is very, very predictable. You'll see it's lower in January, February, March, and then it climbs up to a peak July, August time, and then it dips down again to December. So Google has a definite shape to their graph, but even allowing that the January, February, it's pretty low, but already, generally January, February, for example, is probably a third of what July and August is. But this year, what we're getting already in terms of traffic in March is already higher than the peaks of July, August from Google. So, I'm expecting July, August this year to really be probably 2 or 3 times the traffic levels of last year with Google. Facebook, of course, is consistent. So Facebook, whenever you've got a good post, you're going to see a good spike.
Okay, and as mentioned, not as mentioned, but really what we're looking at is the breakdown, obviously, of where the traffic's coming from. You've got the top 3, top 4 here as far as countries of preference. Italy, obviously, is up there, which is also a good country, but obviously it has to do with Italy, so it's going to be up there. Um, are there any countries that you're expressly going after? Anything that you're
Um,
thinking about expanding into?
the United, in terms of monetization, the United States is one of the most important. In terms of bookings and everything else, the United Kingdom as well is pretty good. I'm targeting to a certain extent the Northern European and some of the South American countries a little bit. I've put a few posts on there in Spanish and Portuguese just to try to get that market, because I've started to notice a fairly good conversion from people from Brazil and other countries there, which surprised me. I never realized, but there's a big Italian Brazilian community and a big Italian Argentinian community, apparently nearly as big as in the US. A lot of Italians moved there, after the war. So there are a lot of people with an interest in Italy. So, and they seem to be converting pretty well. So I've gone after that particular market. And again, like I say, the Northern European markets like Germany, the Scandinavian countries, Netherlands, those are also pretty good in terms of bookings. They're good to have, because the US traffic is much more seasonal. It's from sort of May to September, whereas Germans and the Netherlands and that, even the UK to a certain extent, tend to be people book all year round because it's, just for, particularly for Germany, it's just jump in the car and you can go down to Italy. So, that's a good traffic source to have on the website. So I'm trying to develop that a little bit more. Occasionally with Facebook, it's pretty easy. Anyone can speak any language. So if I see someone posting it in German, I just go to Google Translate and write something and reply to them, just apologizing for my German. But it has started to get a little bit of interaction going, and the same with the Netherlands. My Dutch isn't exactly what it should be, but I can translate everything using Facebook and reply to people. So it has got a little bit of a community going with those people as well, and getting them involved and sharing.
Okay. Yeah, the 320,000 plus, obviously, well, not obviously, but in this, as evident, more than half of your traffic comes from social, which is great. Anything you'd like to talk about this one? I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what it is. Organic search, that has increased. Like I say, Google traffic is really spiking at the moment, so that'll probably increase. You might be getting to about 30% traffic from Google, just because not because of any decline in social traffic, but just because Google has spiked so much so quickly over the last 3 to 4 months. The direct traffic again is something I've also cultivated. We started a newsletter that has grown also pretty rapidly. So that was also important to get that direct traffic. And a lot of people become very loyal. When people arrive on your site from the search engines, they don't know you from a bar soap. They don't know who you are. But when they come across from social, they've been following you for a while. They know who you are. There's a certain degree of familiarity. And there's also a loyalty. Like people will now ask me, how can we make sure we book our next vacation and you get the commission? And I mean, I get people going to places like Hawaii or going to Florida or something, and they're still booking hotels with me because they want to make sure I get commission, because they almost become your friend in a way. So you get that loyalty of people because of the Facebook thing. So yeah, and
Okay.
they'll come directly afterwards. They don't have to come to the Facebook page afterwards.
This follows suit. Facebook, is as you mentioned, also is the overriding social media source you use. Some of these slides can be a little bit redundant. We'd rather cover it completely than not. These, I mean, just going back, we can see the TripAdvisor. And then as far as the amount of sessions, Venice Beach, Italy, and just things having to do specifically with it. So just
Yeah.
makes sense, follow suit, no worries there. Um, Mio My Italy, anything, as far as the last 12 months of traffic you'd like to mention as we
Um,
get here?
No, again, last year we had a bit of a spike in Google traffic. That was after the site started really. I started the site in October, and it really spiked up initially. More than it really you would have thought necessary for the domain in that early stage. So it really had a bit of a spike, and then it dropped down a little bit after that, but it started to really climb up. So now, we're looking at Google traffic is now up 78% over last year, which was the period of the spike. And again, a lot of the traffic though is Facebook posts at certain times of the year. The most popular pages on that site are about beaches in different places in Italy. So it really is very seasonal. You tend to get a real big spike in July in the traffic, and the same thing with posts generally from about April up to June, July. If I do a post on Facebook, you can see some of the earlier posts earlier on in the year, really done well, but they've probably been beach posts, and I tend to do those coming up from March, April time, do a few beach posts, and they really get a lot of reaction on Facebook and a lot of sharing, which leads to those spikes. But generally there again, you'd see the same thing with the Google traffic. Earlier part of the year, it's pretty slow, picks up a little bit earlier than the Venice site, probably March, April, starts picking up, really peaks July, August, and then drops down again quite a lot over December time. And then the spikes and ups and downs are just the Facebook traffic, just with a Facebook post. It's done very well. Like I say, mostly the beach posts do very well on that site.
Okay, we're going to see very similar stuff as far as the country breakdown. This is exactly what it was
Yeah.
With the Venice site, this is exactly what we saw with the Venice site. We've got some other things we need to address, so I want to kind of speed through these. And the reason I say that is it's the exact same thing I would imagine for all the sites. So all
Yeah.
positive stuff.
Yeah.
This is again, we see spikes now. What would you attribute these spikes to?
Again, those are Facebook posts. You
Okay.
know, a couple of posts on Facebook. I don't post as often with the best Italian wine on Facebook because it's not as closely related. Facebook is more generally about Italy, not so much as about the wine. I've been planning to start a Facebook page on wine, particularly so it's more focused on what the site is about, but I haven't got around to that yet. That's something to-do list. But so what I do is occasionally post on there. I don't post too often on Facebook related to the site. So when I do post, you can see there's a huge spike in traffic.
Okay. Uh, well, Italy, well, it's best Italian wine, so Italy kind of took over the UK and Canada there, or at least the UK. Uh,
Yeah.
Organic search in this case is bigger than social. Um, why do you think that is? It's not overly.
Again, yeah, it's just because I post far less. I'll probably post once or twice a month. That's all on my Facebook page with a link to this site. It's just that reason. If I posted to the site every couple of days on Facebook, you'd see social be the same as the other sites. It's just because it's not so tightly related to the niche. I don't, I think it's a little bit off theme for the Facebook page, so I don't post that often on there. So, yeah, that's the only reason why. Whereas the other ones, every couple of days I'm posting on Facebook with a link to the website. Whereas this one, like I say, once or twice a month probably.
Okay. I mean, we've got plenty of other stuff to go to, but Facebook obviously is showing there. This is a relevant question I see come in. What do you do as far as backlinks? Do you do anything? Do you pay for any links, anything like that?
No, no, nothing. I've never done anything like that. It was too much of a risk in terms of creating problems with the Google Penguin algorithm. So I've never done any artificial link building at all. It's the links that just come naturally. Especially with the social media presence, it generates a fair number of natural links now, but that's it really. I've never paid for links.
Okay. Uh, in that you're not really in the link situation or link business. These are obviously just showing what you're linked to. There's a Wikipedia that's out there. Let me miss that. This is going to be the same for best Italian wine. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on it, given more relevant topics. This is the SEM Rush that's available to anybody listening here. So you're not buying any AdWords or anything like that. Um, you know, it doesn't show. There's not much to talk about here. It's not as if it's a huge number, but that's understandable since you're getting everything from social media anyway. Um, Keywords, right? So you're going to be well. You do quite well with certain keywords, with the beaches and obviously with Venice and such. So that's all great stuff, and it's great to have a niche there. And this is obviously, as it says, with the Venice site, with the Mio My Italy, really the same. You're not buying any of these. Um, you do a lot of stuff with beaches. That's obviously by design?
Um, on the Mio My Italy, I've got a lot of pages with beaches. For some reason, the Venice site also has quite a lot of, well, it hasn't got a lot of pages on beaches, but the beach seems to come up in the keyword report. But on Google, when I look at the pages that it finds, if you look on analytics, it's not only the beaches page. There are a lot of other pages that seem very popular on Google. I don't know why it always seems to show the beaches and the keywords for the Venice site. There's a page on beaches near Venice, but and it's a fairly popular page, but it's not by all means the most popular page on the site.
Good. And I was looking here. I think I told you, Andrew, I went to vinitaly.com, which is a traveling wine show. The main show is actually in Verona, Italy, and I was just obviously best Italian wine. That brought back memories there. So very nice country, albeit my limited exposure to it.
Yeah.
Traffic up and down. Um, and I know some of this has to do with what you're putting on Facebook. Um, Anything you see relevant here? Any rhyme or reason as far as the spikes and the valleys, other than any Facebook posts?
Um, no, it's pretty much with the Facebook post. Probably April time here. You probably got a bit of a spike up in the beginning of the year. That was probably around about Easter time. There tend to be more bookings around Easter. Then it drops off again until the summertime and starts climbing up till September, October, and then it drops off over until December. You can see the drop off right down to December, and then it starts climbing up again. You should see this already start really climbing up now with Easter time coming, and it should start climbing throughout the summer again now afterwards. So that's what I'm saying. In terms of the traffic with Google increasing particularly, it should be significantly better than last year. At least I'm hoping that's the case.
Okay. Views, it follows the same graph as the unique, so that was already covered. This is going to be an extended period of time where I put myself on mute, Andrew. When you're done talking about a slide, please just say next. And these are your admin slides. So there's
Okay.
really nothing I'm going to be able to add to it.
Okay.
Mention what the sites are built on, WordPress or what have you. But
Yeah.
with that, I'll mute. And when you want to go to the next slide, just say next.
Okay, will do. Yeah, this is the sites are built with Site Build It. It's pretty easy to work, similar to WordPress really. Very easy to use. You don't need to use any HTML or anything. It does it all for you. You just use normal writing basically. And this is the business center where everything happens, where you can check everything that's going on. You've got your mail out manager at the top. That's to send out your monthly, or you can set it whenever you want to, weekly, daily, e-sign. You've got RSS blog it. That's if your RSS feed, if you want to send a particular little blog post out, you can do that there as well. Form data, you can get all the information about anyone who's filled in any forms on the site. Mixit and Infinite are two things I haven't used. That's if you're integrating an outside resource into your site. Name Parket is basically where you register another domain name. Then Move It, Autopilot. Those are if the site is not being used, or if you want to change anything on the site in terms of, you want to change the domain name you've registered, or register a new domain name and bring it into a new site, register a new site with that. Further down, you've got your traffic center, you've got your traffic stats, which you click on any of these things, you get taken through to another page. You've got your search engine headquarters there that tells you what search engines are finding you, what pages are being found, and where you rank for each page in the search engines for each page. And you can see the keywords that are finding that page as well. Your gap calculations. This was a unique program to SiteSell, where they calculate whether any Google algorithm has affected you, or anything that you've done wrong with the Google algorithms, that something Google doesn't like. It automatically calculates when, what, why, and it gives you solutions to how you can correct that. For example, if you do the calculation that shows you something related to a Google Penguin algorithm, it'll show you what steps you need to take in order to correct that. Which thankfully there's nothing like Penguin, and that has never affected my site. Then last one is Value Exchange HQ. That's if you've got any link exchanges with anyone. Again, that's something I've not really done. I haven't done it all actually, because I've always kept the link building completely natural. It's happened organically through the growth of the site really. I haven't ever made a point to go out there and exchange links. I've tried to always keep it a natural thing. And then next really, Adam. Yeah, this is where you actually build the page out. You get onto this, and you've got little blocks over the side. So you've got on the left-hand side here, you've got a menu down there. You've got different blocks. You've got an image block, text block, an HTML block if you want that, and various other things you can drag across an e-sign block. And what you do, you just drag these from the left side onto the page itself. So you'll see that there's a headline block at the top, which I dragged across there, which it's got the headline. You just write it in there. Then you've got a text block where I've got the first paragraph of text, and then an image block where I've dragged across an image and put it onto there. Once you drag an image block across, it'll open a new menu where you choose an image that you've already uploaded, or if you haven't got an image already, you can just upload a new image to that space in the column. And that's it. It's pretty simple. At the end of it, on the right hand side, you've got the chance to preview the page before it goes live. You can analyze it. Analyze it is a great feature. Again, it's something unique to SiteCell, which WordPress didn't have, which allows them, they analyze your page for any SEO errors, or if you've mentioned a keyword too often, or you've done anything that might offend one of the search engines, it'll warn you to change something in the page that's not quite right. And it'll also make suggestions on things you could perhaps do better on the page. In terms of making it SEO friendly. So for example, if the content is a bit thin, it'll warn you that the content is too thin. If you've got too many of the same keyword in the page, it'll also warn you that it looks like your keyword spamming and things like that. So that's very useful and very unique as well. And then after that, you've just got build page, so you can just click on build a page, and then your page will go live. Okay, next. Again, this is in the main business center. It's just the one before last. The screenshot we saw was on the same page as this, but just a little bit further down. This a little bit further up. Here you can see at the top there's something called Brainstormer. A Brainstormer is another unique thing to Site Build It, which is extremely useful. What you do with the Brainstormer there, they've got a whole lot of information in terms of keywords. So if you brainstorming a particular niche, say I'm going to write a page about Verona. I put in Verona, and it'll give me all the keywords with demand, Google earnings potential, supply, profitability of a particular keyword. So I can choose a good keyword for the page, and it'll also recommend secondary keywords to use on that page. It's very unique and incredibly easy to use. So once you've chosen all the keywords, you then are left with a master keyword list with all your best keywords, with all the numbers that you could possibly need in terms. So every time you want to build another page related to Verona, for example, you click on the Verona keyword, and it'll give you all those keywords that have been saved there, your best keywords related to that. So you can just choose one next time you want to build a page, and it's continually updating, with the latest Google data, any changes in demand or supply or anything else. And niche, choose it as if you're going to build another site, it helps you choose a related niche. So if you want to add on another site, you can just research the niche there. And then as we move down to Page Manager. Add a block builder page. That's where you add a page, which is like we saw on the slide before. Or if you want to use your own HTML, you can just upload your own HTML page directly into it. And then further down, you've got the pages that have been built. You can see, for example, it says here, A Lifetime of Italy. That's a page there. If I clicked on that, it would give me the option to edit that page, which again will take you to where the previous slide was, or you can just preview the slide and have a look at it. And that's it. Next. Okay, yeah, this slide is once again the same page. The page is quite long, so it's broken down into 3 or 4 slides. You've got at the top here, you've got all pages. You've got Site Designer, which is where you design the theme for your site. That would be your site header and the columns at the side and the general look and feel of the site. Site navigation would be your nav bar, how you want your nav bar, whether you want a left nav bar, horizontal nav bar, you go in there to design that. Socialize it and face it are really useful as well. Socialize it is, it allows you to have all the Twitter buttons and Pinterest buttons and everything else on the site. And face it allows you to integrate Facebook comments into the site and Facebook like buttons and everything in a very, very simple way. Makes it very simple to do and very easy to use. And so that, basically then you've got Facebook comments and people can come across and interact from Facebook on your page. Mobilize it is a way to make your site mobile friendly. All my sites are mobile friendly, which is again is a very important thing, because I believe in April Google will be changing the algorithm to drop a lot of sites that aren't mobile friendly from the rankings. So you know, being mobile friendly is very important these days. And yeah, that's where you go to make your sites mobile friendly, and it's very easy to do, and it's been done already. So yeah. What else do we have on here? The web FTP is if you're uploading your own HTML. This section's for that. This whole section here is for uploading HTML. And then you've got your library. You've got your image library. Those are all the images that you've uploaded. Your tracker library can show, any links, are tracking the links, or click through into links, particular links on your page. Link library gives you a list of all the links that you've got out, on your site, outbound links to other sites. That are on your site. Reusable block library. Those are blocks that I mentioned before, that you can drag a block over onto the page. If there's a block you use all the time, you can create it as you want, with the same text or the same image, and then you just save it and you can use it on all the page. Just drag it over. Form builded libraries, where you build forms, your e-sign, sign up, or contact me form, or anything like that. And the content to library is where people can contribute pages to your site. So basically, it will allow people to contribute a page, or comment on existing contributions. Yeah, I've got quite a lot of those. I've probably got about 60 pages on the Venice site where people have contributed. You can then go in and edit it. If you don't like what they've written, you can edit it. You don't have to accept it if the content's too thin. You can automatically delete it if you don't want it. But it's a good way. It adds quality content. I've got a lot of good quality submissions on there from different people that add a lot of value to the site, and it also builds relationship. It becomes no longer about just my site. It becomes about a community where other people get involved and share. The only thing is, on those pages I mentioned, the analytics on most of those 60 or 70 pages, I haven't got the analytics. That's why I was saying the analytics doesn't give you a complete picture of the site's traffic. Okay, next. And that's the top of the page. This is the last one, I think, shows the top of the page. At the very top, there's the Site Sell Affiliate Club if you want to join the affiliate program. There's the My Account renewal when you want to renew the site. At the moment, for the Venice site, for example, it's $299 a year, which includes everything, the hosting and everything else as well, where you can log out. The support center, find it if you're looking for something. They've got a wealth of information and fantastic articles and everything else that you can have access to once you're part of it. So you can find anything you need over there. There are forums as well where you can ask questions and discuss different practices and get ideas for your website. Webmail, where you can check anyone who's contacting you. And Site Central is basically this page. And then there's the introduction. It just explains, I'm sure you can read this here yourself, so I don't need to read through that for you. And then over here, there's just new launches, updates, things that have been happening. Next. Yeah, now this is, we've clicked through now to one of the pages. When I showed you the traffic stats, if you click through to traffic stats, you go through to a page where it's got a complete breakdown of all your traffic details. And I've clicked through even further onto a particular month over here. So, whatever month this is, if say this is February or something, I click through it. This is part of what you'll have available there. It shows you your traffic breakdown. You can see the pie graph with, how many people have visited your site from where. It shows you also where the people are coming from, non-mobile, phone, iPad, Android, and you can see I'm getting a lot of traffic now from mobile, which is becoming more and more important for the site. You can go to that. There's a Google site where you can go and see whether your site is mobile friendly, and thank goodness all my sites pass that. They get the awesome comment from Google, so which is very good, and I've noticed a real uptick in terms of that, in terms of Google sending me more traffic because of that, I think. And with the next algorithm coming towards the end of April, it should be even better. It should give me a further boost, I think, in terms of Google traffic. And then further down, you've got the list, the top 50 of 155 countries where you're getting traffic from. Again, it ties in very much with what we're seeing on Google Analytics. United States, Great Britain, France, Australia, and Germany are, all important. I'm not sure what site this was for. It might have been for the wine site. Probably was for the wine site. I get quite a few people from France and Italy, particularly on the wine site. Okay, next. Next, Adam. Okay. Yeah, and now this is again on the traffic stats. This is for January. You can see a breakdown of the traffic per day here, and you've got it at the top. You've got the total visits for January. This is January 2015. You can see there were 71,000 visits. Total unique visitors 40,000. Total pages, how many page visits there were, and then it goes down here: visits per day, the average per day, visitors per day, the average per day, and pages per day. And then it breaks it down by day. You can see here day one, how many visitors you got. It goes all the way down. Like I mentioned, you get a particular spike when I post something that I know is going to do well, like the quiz ones and the bucket list Italy ones. You can see here on the 15th, I posted one on Facebook. You could see the number of visits spike that day. The site got 4,308. I think this is the Venice site probably that's showing now 4,308 visits for that day. The number of pages visited, and then the number of visits 4,811. So it does tend to spike when you post something. So it's pretty useful though, because you can control the traffic. So you really want to get a lot of traffic on that page. You can get yourself a lot of traffic whenever you feel like getting traffic, and you can send it wherever you want to send it. So yeah, and you've got the detailed breakdown of all these statistics, and for every day, this is basically in the back end of what sites sell offers in terms of statistics. At the top as well, you've got your daily statistics, you've got your pages. You've also got other things which aren't shown on this. It goes into a lot more detail in terms of the entry pages, the pages where most people are entering from, the exit pages where people exit most often. Then you've got the mobile section as well, showing you where the traffic has come from in terms of mobile traffic. Referrals, which you saw earlier, which was the pie chart there. Keywords as well. Referrals as well. Also, there's a section which also includes where your traffic's coming from Google, from
Right.
Facebook. It's got the first 1,000 main pages that are sending you traffic,
Right.
and it's got your keywords as well.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew. I
Okay.
appreciate it. That was very extensive. We're getting just about 10 minutes left on the software here, but we're wrapping it up in a good time anyway. Um,
Okay.
as far as revenue goes, and you've been hitting questions that have been asked. You've actually been answering them during it, so it's a good flow to the conversation. Um,
Yep.
the peaks of the revenue, I know it's booking.com, and that revenue is paid when the actual trip is taken.
Yeah.
What we're seeing here are peaks in travel, correct?
Yeah. Basically, that's what it is. The worst months are generally December, January and February. Then generally in March you start seeing a bit of a spike up. March, April, it depends a bit on Easter. Easter, when Easter falls, tends to affect it a bit. So you'll start seeing a pickup again in March, June, and then all the way through to July, August, September, October, really.
Well, we're
Yeah, so
getting
it's
close to
definitely seasonal. I mean, that's what I was saying in terms of the bookings. I'm seeing a lot of bookings already. I've seen more bookings in March already this year than I saw in the entire month of March last year. And February was the same. I've seen more bookings in February, probably 3 times the number of bookings in February as last year, February. But, I'm only going to see that revenue in June, July, because that's when people are booked for the summer period. So, I'll start seeing that probably late March, April, really. I'll start seeing it start spiking, and then going late into the summer, June, July, August, September, into the fall. That's when you really see it. So I know already that I've made a lot of revenue for this year, but unfortunately, I can't count it as revenue until it's people have actually gone and stayed in the hotel.
right. Okay, well that's something a new owner would look forward to. The expenses, this is just when you pay your hosting bill
Yeah.
and things of that sort. All the expenses are mentioned on Latona's. Anything you want to mention here?
Yeah, basically it's just $299 a year per site. The wine site is $50, but I'm not adding content to it, so I've got a deal where you only pay $50. That means you're not adding content. You can go and edit things if they need changing, whatever, fix links, but I haven't been adding content to that. Just because of the time issue, really. That's more than anything else. So there's 2 sites at $299 a year and one with 50, and then the other little bits along there, probably, I ran a sort of test ad campaign, maybe for $40 here and there with Facebook a couple of times. Maybe got a 1,000 likes from that. But that's it. They're not sort of fixed expenses. The only fixed expenses are the hosting of the websites.
Okay, fair enough. Um, what I'll do is this is where you're going to spend a moment. How many hours you spend on it, but an hour of your time is worth more in some ways than another person's time. It's dependent upon your skill set. So just go into a little detail as far as what you brought to the network of sites. Obviously, you've learned some things as you've operated them, but just let us know your skill set and then how long you spend on what daily to run the trio.
Okay, and in terms of yeah, what you need to run it, I spend probably about 10 minutes a day on Pinterest. I'll go into Pinterest and see if there are any nice posts that relate to what I'm doing, and then share those. I'll share a few from the website, probably about 10 minutes a day on that. And then I spend about 30 minutes a day on average on Facebook, just replying to a few comments, seeing if there are any messages coming through. Um, and yeah, and just liking a few posts on there and sharing a few other things. Facebook, I've put a bit more attention into that to try to build a community and get people involved in it as well, which has worked well because I've got a lot of albums and photos and things from people who've shared their photos with me. I started little albums for people on the Facebook page, which really took off, and that became really popular. I get even professional photographers now who offer their photos if I'll start an album for them on the Facebook page. So I'll probably spend about 30 minutes. Sometimes I might spend an hour a day on Facebook. You can cut it down, but because I've been building it up, I've been putting a lot of attention to that. And then on the website itself, I'll probably spend about 4 to 8 hours a month on writing content. I tend to write about 1 or 2 pages, maybe a month. Again, some of the pages are pages that come in now from people who writing content for me. I've got a couple of things at the moment where there's a lady who's got a very popular book, not in a Tuscan Villa, which is a very popular book on Italy, and she's going to write some content on the website. So I've got a lot of people writing guest articles and things that have proved to be very popular. So for myself, actually writing and doing things on the page, I probably spend 4 to 8 hours. There's not that much to do. It's basically done really in terms of the website. So I just add a little bit here and there now and again just to keep it current. If anything needs editing, I go and edit it, a broken link here and there. But yeah, there's not much. The websites are pretty mature in terms of that, in terms of adding content. So the last year, 2014 and 2013 were very hectic because it was building it all up, rewriting all the content, redesigning the websites, getting all the branding right. So there was a lot more work. But now, over the last 4 to 5 months, it's really slowed down. What I should be doing now in terms is looking for the monetizing opportunities, because I've to a certain extent neglected that in terms of building up the websites, in terms of traffic and the presence and the brand. That's been my focus last year. Now that those are mature and I've got the guaranteed traffic, I've got the content, I've got the brand developed. The next step for me would have been monetization. Next. Okay.
This is
Yeah.
if you were to keep the site, how would you grow it?
Um, yeah, a little bit what I mentioned before. The brand's been done, the content is all there, and the social media has been developed. I do a little bit more in terms of social media, probably develop a little bit more on Twitter and a little bit on YouTube. But there's not that much. The growth of the brand and the websites has to a large extent been done. You just have to maintain it. The opportunities are now looking for people to advertise directly. I've started getting a few last year. I started getting a few more. Even this month I've got a few more advertising, but I've never made an effort. It's been people approaching me, which is happening more and more now as the presence has grown. More and more people approach me to advertise on the site. But I should really be approaching a lot more direct advertisers and getting them to advertise. I haven't done that. There's a lot of opportunity in terms of that. The other thing as well is to find a niche product that's related to it. If anyone's looked at the site, you'll see I used to have shoes and things on the site there. That's fallen away really. I still have the shoes on there because I make revenue from the Google ads that I have on the shoe pages. But I've increased the price so people don't buy the shoes, because basically the supplier I had who used to supply the shoes when I started fell away, and I never went and looked for anyone else. So yeah, that never brought me much revenue, but it's something that really could be developed if you can find niche products related to Italy and sell them. And again, the other thing was to develop maybe an app or even an ebook or something, or a book of sort related to the site with the content of the site in a book, because there's a lot of photos, there's a lot of good content that could easily be put into an ebook, and then a product could take it up to the next level in terms of revenue opportunities. And there's a couple other things as well. Answer Media contacted me a couple of weeks ago that they want to work with me in terms of featuring some of their videos on the website. So there's a couple other revenue streams that should be coming on in the next few months. So yeah, there's a lot happening. And Booking.com as well. Booking.com has been one of the major partners on the website, and with having built the network and the relationships, I'm really seeing a huge increase in that, because people now, like I mentioned before, people really want to book with me, and they tend to convert a lot better, and I'm tending to get a lot more. So I've built up that relationship. Now I'm starting to see a conversion of that. Okay, next. Now, yeah, this is a difficult question. In some ways, I think I'm crazy to be selling the site. Like I say, all the work's been done. Now it's just to reap what I've sown, sort of thing. Pick the right fruit. But unfortunately, I've got a lot of other business commitments, and my business partner, who happens to be my wife and happens to be the Maria who's famous from the websites, she thinks I should be focusing on those other business commitments rather than focusing on the site. So yeah, I wouldn't want to sell if it wasn't for her, but for peace and harmony in terms of my relationship, I've got to do what she says, sort of thing, because the other commitments are important. But I really do think, in a way, it's the wrong decision. I think that the site has got a lot of growth potential, a huge upside potential, and it's growing with very little to do. So I think I'm stepping away at the wrong moment, but unfortunately, yeah, that's it. So if I don't sell it in a way, that's it, then I'm sure I'll benefit from it. But my wife doesn't agree with me. She thinks I need to focus on other things. So here we go. It's on sale.
Okay, fair enough. I see you've answered all the questions that have been in the queue proactively. So good job as far as presenting everything. It's pretty clear and concise. Last call for questions. This is my information. Anyone listening live or recording, that's my cell phone. Voicemail's fine. That's my email address and my Skype. You can contact me. Any request of information that you make on the listing comes directly to me, but definitely reach out to me. I'm glad to interact with you. My personal take on Andrew is he's always been very, very meticulous and very responsive when it comes to questions. Andrew, I see that's it. Great timing and great presentation here. Good job. I'll be in contact. And again, anyone listening to this who wants a prospectus on the site, we'll make sure you have a signed NDA on file, and just request it to me or from me. Andrew, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you, everybody.
Take care.
Bye bye.